Hello everybody, my name is Jody. My husband David John and I live on a small farm in North Idaho where we have a pretty decent sized garden. We have raised beds and in-ground, and as you see behind me, it is fall and the garden is needing to be put to bed for winter. We also raise Muscovy ducks, Chinese crested geese. We have a couple heritage turkeys and a plethora of chickens. We have a German Shepherd and a poodle and 3 cats. So if you're new here, that's a little bit of what this channel is about. And if you're a return viewer, thank you for coming back. So I've gone through today and collected all the tomatoes that were starting to blush, have them in the shed, show you that here in a little bit. And then went through, because my chickens have now decided that Mama's Garden is the place to be. So I'm gonna go through and try to get rid of any food that's gonna be causing them to come in. So unfortunately the sunflowers will have to go also. But I did this morning go through and pick all the tomatoes that were green that aren't gonna ripen and dumped them out for them to pick through. So now I've got to get the potato bed cleaned out, and that's the next line of cleanup I'm going to do, and then I'll take you in the shed and show you what we've got in there. Well, I got a bucket and a half, 5-gallon bucket and a half of potatoes. Believe it or not, we haven't watered this bed in about a month, and it has not rained. It's been relatively warm, and the soil is still really compacted. So, since this spring is going to be really busy, I'm going to prep this bed for next year. I'm going to add another bale of pine shavings to it and then put a layer over the top. Probably put a layer of newspaper down and then the pine shavings, just so it's ready for next year. And then I'm just going to work my way that way in the garden. Next would be my green beans. So gonna get this bed fixed and we'll move on to the green beans. Okay. What's up, LeBrons? So I got the shavings on. I did a healthy layer of newspaper. As weed control, it will break down and add to the soil. But we'll probably take a couple times of soaking it just to get it to settle back down. But let's go look in the shed and I'll show you what's in there. And then we'll get the green beans taken care of. But they're liking the mess I made with the sunflowers. So in here, the only real light is coming from up there. So I have my slowly turning tomatoes there so they can get a little more light. The squashes, but the tomatoes I have over here in shade. They are on a shelf that it's got the holes so there's ventilation, so they should dry good. Got some decent white ones and some decent sized red ones. Not quite as many as I was hoping for, but just like everything this year, it's been just a little weird. And I think with that composted steer manure that we'd put in that bed and the fact that it was still damp, says that it might have just been too compacted for them to grow a bunch. So hence the reason I added all that pine shavings. So got the potato bed fixed, got the green beans pulled out, and half of the sunflowers pulled out. Take you over and show you the happy chickens and the mess I got now. But the green beans I could have taken and put in the compost pile because they weren't powdery mildewy. Except hindsight's 20/20, and I was also pulling weeds. So the main weeds I have in my garden is the wild geranium, and then whatever that guy is, he gets tall and has little burrs, and even at this small, he's full of seed heads. So I really don't want to add more into the compost to bring back into the garden. But I got most of these guys pulled out. Oh, here's a big guy of it. So here's a big one, and all of that is seed pods. So, hindsight, I shouldn't have been pulling the weeds and the green beans at the same time, but it is what it is. So now I just got to go through and get the sticks collected up and get this batch of soaker hose cleaned up and got a couple foxgloves over there that I've got to dig up and heel in somewhere until I get that bed over there done. But let's go look at my mess. Mess of sunflower stalks and happy chickens. And it's one of those I could go through today and get a lot more done, but I don't want to. The chickens are pretty overwhelmed right now with this. I'd rather eat through a bunch and then do another bunch. So it's one of those I could work on getting the green beans or the purple beans and the scarlet runner beans down. Because they're pretty dried up and needing to come out. But like I said, first I'm going to get these couple of these soaker hoses cleaned up. Maybe do a little cleanup on the sunflower stalks and see what time I'm at. So this afternoon, I did decide last night to go in and slice a bunch of apples to get in the dehydrator because they take about 12-13 hours. So I have to time it perfectly because I had an early shift today. So I'm going to go through, get the rest of the sunflowers cut down and dumped over the fence to the chickens to snack on for about a half an hour or so, and work on getting the tomatoes and the cattle pennels and the T-posts taken out, and then that will leave it ready to dig up the foxgloves so David John can hopefully on Sunday get in here and run a quick rototill over it, and then I can make my rows again for next year, because I am kind of changing the design of how I'm going to do it. So I figure get it done now so I don't have to worry about it next year. It will be all ready for me. Okay, now that I've bored you with that, let's... My scissors gonna cut this twine. Okay, now that I got a bucket for my clips, definitely falls under more exciting putting the clips on than taking them off. But now, go through, get the tomatoes cut off and get the panel removed from the T-post and move on to the other four. Okay, that looks like it's all clear of tying straps. Let's get to removing. this is the Mexican sour gherkin. I'm going to go through and pull off the big ripe fruit, so hopefully I'll have lots of seeds for next year. So off this clump, I got this handful, plus what all is fallen on the ground that I will collect up. Look how crazy long these tomato root systems can be. It's why you plant them deep. It's like this one here. You can see all the side roots that it put off did what it did. And I even broke part of the taproot off. And I'm sure just because I don't really want the sour gherkins growing everywhere in the garden, because I don't want them to. They're going to be insanely crazy if I don't get all the little, if I can hold on to it. If I don't get all these picked up and we mix the soil in and spread it back out. But if I wanted them to do that, you know they wouldn't. Okay, let's get this panel cut off. And I don't have a garbage bag, but I do have a bucket. So I'm just going to set them over there right now, temporarily out of my way for doing the rest of them. We'll have to move them again when I go to pull the sunflower roots, but I'll get them all taken down, show you what that looks like. So I'll be back with you in what seems like a second. Just saw something, so give you okay, gonna give you kind of an example of why you deep bury for roots on your tomatoes. This one was a seed that started by itself. As you see, it's only got maybe 1.5 inches of roots going up and down. And this one is one that I planted deep. This was probably where it was in the pot, and so I buried it to there. Not an uber good example, because this one had like 4. Whoa, did you see that bird? I felt it. 3 or 4 plants growing together, but at root level, the one that I planted is about 8 inches deeper of roots than the self-planted one. Just saw it and thought you guys might think that's interesting. Comparing nature to nurture. I gotta show you guys something freaking crazy. I thought I heard, sorry, gotta show you guys something absolutely beyond amazing. I thought I'd heard peeping, but the little Turkin baby and the little Barred Rock Silky Mix baby, they're always whining. And that one mama hen that hatched out the baby chicks that my cousin is babysitting, evidently was able to find a boy. She hatched out a white one and a little black and white one. I'm at this point completely dumbfounded because she should not have had any fertile eggs unless Snow or Snow's brother are old enough that they could have bred her. I didn't think they were old enough. That mama has got two. And speaking of that, those two are going to be a breeding pair. Yeah, I'm talking about you guys. If you can hear me over them, they have already started breeding, and Betty is laying eggs. I'm not going to let her set on any going into fall. But yeah, those two baby ducklings, absolutely insane. But as you can see, it's starting to get a little dark. So I got all the cattle panels and the T-posts removed, got all the roots and everything cleaned up. So the only thing left that I need to do before David John can do a quick rototill and I can get the new bed layout put in is get the foxgloves dug up and stuck in a bucket so I can work on that other bed. Yes? You have all this food, you don't need scratch. Yes, we do, Mom. So, on that kind of interesting news, that's where I'm going to end today's video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And we'll be back Thursday with more adventures of Moose Flats Farm. Bye for now.